Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Scope IIT. Today we will discuss about the topic ER diagram. ER diagram that stands for entity relationship diagram, or you can say entity relationship model. It is basically a conceptual model for designing a database. Okay, so using ER diagram we can design the database. Here this model represents the logical structure of database including your entities, their attribute and relationship between them. Now what do you mean by entity? Entity means it is an object that is stored as data such as student, course or you can say company, right? So that is nothing but an entity. And attribute, what do you mean by attribute? Attribute means the property that describe an entity such as student ID name. For example, my entity over here is student, okay? My entity is student. So student can have attribute as student ID, student name. Okay, this all is known as attribute like student gender, student contact number, student date of birth. Okay, so that all is known as what? Attribute. Then relationship. So what is a relationship? The connection between the entities. Okay, so suppose there are two entities. One is student entity, this one is student entity and another one is course entity. So what is the relationship between this one? Okay, so a connection between these two entity basically is known as relationship. So here student enrolls in a course. So here what is a relationship? Enrolls. Understood? Then what do you mean by entity set? So an entity set is a collection of entities of same type. Okay, so here it's not allowed the entity of different types. So if you are having collection of entity of same type, then that point basically, that set basically is known as entity set. So in short, you can say that an entity is a single instance while an entity set is a group of those instance. This is very important point. Okay. So what do you mean by entity? Entity is a single instance and entity set is group of those instance. Okay, next, what are the symbol we are using in ER model? So the first is a rectangle. Rectangle basically represent the ER model. Okay, so here you can see the symbol. Okay, so this is basically it represent an entity. Okay, this rectangle represent an entity. Similarly, you can see this diamond shape that represent a relationship. Then this oval shape, this basically represent an attribute. Then this double rectangle shape that basically represent a weak entity. Similarly, double diamond shape that represent a weak entity relationship. Now, what do you mean by weak entity? Weak entity, that means the entity in which we don't have any primary key, that is basically known as weak entity. Okay, then double attribute, that is multi-value attribute. Multi-value attribute, that means I can say for example student contact number. So one student can have more than one contact number. Okay, so that attribute we will write it in double line. Then key attribute. Key attribute means the attribute which will have a primary key, that is known as key attribute. And suppose if you are merging two attributes together into the single attribute, that is known as composite attribute. Okay, again later I'll explain all the different types of attribute in detail, but still here I have given you some introduction. Next, so here what are the symbol used in ER diagram? One rectangle, second eclipse, basically it represent the attribute. That what I said, this eclipse symbol, it represent the attribute in ER model. Then diamond shape, that represent the relationship. Then lines that we use for flowing the data. Then double eclipse basically that represent multi-value attribute as I've shown you, and double rectangle that represent your weak entity. So student, this diagram what I have drawn over here, this diagram is very important. You should remember, because many time in previous year and GATE and UGC NET exam they have already asked question based on this diagram also. Okay. Next. Now, what is attributes? Attribute I already explained you. It is a characteristics of an entity that is used to describe an entity. Now, there are different types of attribute. One is your simple attribute. So, the attribute that cannot be further subdivided into component in a simple attribute. For example, if I say student roll number, okay, if I say example as student roll number, so roll number can be further divided. Roll number can be further divided? No. Okay. So the attribute which cannot be further divided, that is known as simple attribute. Then what do you mean by composite attribute? Composite attribute means attribute that can be splitted into the components. Okay. So that is known as composite attribute. For example, I can say name. Okay. So name can be divided as first name. and last name. Okay. So this is basically name. So name is an example of composite attribute which can be divided into two: first name, last name, sometimes middle name also. Then single value attribute. The attribute that takes up only single value. For example, gender. No one can enter more than one value in that one. Okay, so gender is an example of single value attribute. Similarly, what is multi-value attribute? So the attribute which can take more than one value. For example, contact number. So it's possible one student can have more than one contact number, right? So multi-value attribute that represent the attribute that takes more than one value. So the example of multi-value attribute can be contact number. Contact number. Okay. Then stored attribute. So the stored attribute are those attribute that doesn't require any further updation. Now how you can say further updation? For example, if I say date of birth, for example, date of birth. Okay, suppose in college you have given one date of birth. After next month you'll give another date of birth. No, right? So date of birth, that means it's a fixed one, will not change it. Okay. So date of birth is an example of stored attribute. Next is derived attribute. So the attribute which can be derived from other attribute. For example, I can say age. Why age is an example? Because we can derive age from date of birth. Okay, so age is known as a derived attribute. Next is a complex attribute. Those attributes which can be formed by the nesting of composite and multi-value attribute. Okay, so for example, if you are nesting the composite attribute as well as multi-value attribute, then that is known as your complex attribute. So that means the attribute which is composite as well as multi-value. Okay, that attribute we can call it as complex attribute. Next, the last one, key attribute. So the key attribute are those attribute that can be uniquely identify the entity in the entity set. That means the attribute which is having the primary key. That attribute is known as your key attribute. Okay. Then this 4 point even have written as a note. Degree. Degree means what? The number of attribute in the relation schema. Okay. So you can say even in short, degree is nothing but the number of columns you are having in the table. And cardinality is number of tuple. Tuple means rows in a relation. Then total participation, total and partial participation in the next slide I'll explain in detail. But here also every entity in the set must participate in at least one relationship instant. That is total participation. Partial participation means that some entities in the set may not be involved in any relationship instance. Okay, so that is known as your partial participation. Next, types of entity. So basically there are two types of entity, weak entity and strong entity. Weak entity, that means the entity which is having a primary key, that is weak entity. And the entity, weak entity means the entity which don't have a primary key, that is basically known as weak entity. And strong entity, that means the entity which have primary key, that is known as your strong. No, so it has primary key, that's why it will become strong entity. And weak entity, that means the entity which don't have, which do not have a form of primary key, that is weak entity, and which have a primary key, that is known as your strong entity. Next, cardinality, or you can say binary relationship. So the term binary relationship is a relationship in which two entities are involved. Okay, so any relationship in which two entities are involved, that relationship is known as binary relationship. Now, what do you mean by cardinality? So the number of instances of an entity from any relationship that can be connected or associated with the relation, that is basically known as cardinality. So there are four types of cardinality we are having. One is one-to-one, like one entity is related with only one entity. Then one to many, that means for example one student join many courses. Okay, then many to one, many students join only one courses, that is also possible. Many to many students joins many courses, right? So that is what, these are the four types of cardinality we are having. Then partial participation. So what do you mean by partial participation constraint? Partial participation, that means the relationship that does not involve all the entities. Okay, so the relationship that does not involve all entity, that is known as your partial participation. Similarly, what is total participation? The relationship that involves each and every entity. That means the relationship which involve all entity, that is basically known as total participation. Now in ER diagram, how you will identify? So see, if you have a single line, that is a partial participation, and if you have double line, that is a total participation. Okay, next. Now, this is actually very, very, very important, and in exam they'll ask question based on this also. Okay. Now, how to convert your ER diagram to relational model? Okay. Basically, students think that it is dependent on the entity and relationship. No. How to convert ER diagram to relationship model? Basically, it depend on cardinality, like one to one, one to many. What cardinality that relationship has? Okay, based on that, we will divide our table. Now see, so here, this is an example of one employee works in one department. Okay, so this is one employee table and this is one department table. So employee table have employee ID, employee name and age, whereas department table have department ID, department name and city. Okay, then work has one left side employee ID and right side has DID. Now one question will arise in your mind that ma'am, why we are doing it? Okay, what is the need of performing this relationship? Employee table is there, department table is there to get department information, then why we want to create a relationship only, right? So the point over here is, suppose if you want an information of any employee, okay, any employee name, for example, what is the age of employee B, you can get that information, right? Similarly, if you want the information of department, like in department D2 or department HR, are staying in which city, right? So that information you can see. Okay, so if your table is separate, employee table will give you information about employee, department table will give you information about the department, but who will give you information about which employee works in which department? Okay, so that we don't know, na? Which employee will work in which department? So that information basically will be given using this joining, or you can say using this relational diagram. Understood? So now see. So now there are three separate table. Now here one question will arise, ma'am, which will be the primary key? See here, employee ID is a primary key. Here DID is a primary key. So in work table it will have both, because it had both the relationship, right? So employee ID or DID, which one will be the primary key? So here actually any one can be the primary key. Okay, so you should make a note and remember, whenever it is one-to-one relationship, employee ID or DID, any one can be the primary key. It's not a fix, like only EID will be the primary key or right side will be, like DID will be the primary key. Okay, nothing is fixed. You can make any one as a primary key. Now here in this example, I made DID as a primary key in my example. Okay, so now our three table, okay, our three table is divided into two tables. Okay, you can say merged into two tables. Okay, so now here you can see, as I said, I took DID as a primary key, so DID will go on left hand side. So see, remaining table is same, employee ID, employee name and age, but DID I have added on left hand side because I made DID as a primary key, and department table will be as it is. Now, for example, if I'll make EID as a primary key, then what will happen? Then nothing will happen. First, we'll draw this department table, and with department table only one column will be added, that is EID. That is also possible. Understood? And now make a note that whenever it is one-to-one relationship, whenever it is one-to-one relationship, then it can be merged into two tables. Minimum two tables are needed to perform one-to-one relationship. So in this question, now what are the tables we will have? So one table we will have as employee, and in this employee I added DID on left hand side. Okay, so that means the relationship work will be added on left hand side, and right hand side we will have only department. Understood? Chalo. Next, now suppose your cardinality is one to many. Okay, now suppose your cardinality is one to many. So in that case, what will happen? So see, one student can study many courses, right? So this is my student table, student ID, student name, age, and this is my course table, course ID, course name and marks. So here also the same question, which will be the primary key, student ID or course ID? So here it's nothing like anyone can be, no, because it is one to many relationship. So in one to many relationship, the many side is always the primary key. You cannot make SID as a primary key over here. Okay, so in this type of portion, CID will be your primary key. So as your CID is your primary key, that means your SID will go on which side? Right hand side. Like see, in the last example, okay, in this last example, what I did my this one as a primary key. So I've shifted my DID on left hand side. So similarly here, I made my right side CID as a primary key. So your SID will shift on right hand side. Understood? So see, now the same table, student table will be same, and which is the this one many side is course. So your student ID will go on right hand side. So you will have your CID, CNAME marks as it is, and student ID, SID will be added to this one. And here SID is a primary key over here, and SID will become foreign key over here. And make a note, whenever it is one to many relationship, then also it is divided into two tables. Got it? Now you tell me, see, I hope you understood one to many. Similarly, if it is many to one, same question, if I change, suppose this is my many students studies one course. Okay, suppose it is many to one. So in that case, what will happen? In that case, what will be the primary key? Always many side is primary key. So in that case, your SID will be the primary key. So SID will be the primary key. So in that case, this table will be as it is. Now here, your CID will be added. Got it like this way. Next. Next is many to many. Now in many to many relationship, many students studies many courses. So here student ID, student name, age, then course CID, CNAME and mark. Okay. Here also same question, which will be the primary key. Okay. So if it is one to one, anyone can be the primary key. In one to many side will be the primary key. Similarly in many to one, many side will be the primary key. But here both are many. Okay. So here what happens now? Here this both combinedly will become a primary key. Okay, that is basically known as composite key. Okay, so whenever it is many to many relationship, then both should be primary key. That means both merging, not alone, both merging. That means composite key it will create. Now what about the reduction of the table? So whenever it is many to many relationship, there is no reduction in the table. Your table will be as it is. We cannot reduce our table into less number of parts for this case. Understood? So make a note, in many to many, there will be three tables. Okay, I hope it's clear. Next. Okay, now I'll explain you one example. Okay, in exam, what type of question they will ask and how to solve it again. For example, this is my one entity. I'll say E1. Okay, it is connected with one relationship. For example, R1. This is connected with one entity. For example, E2. It is connected with one relation. For example, R3. And it is connected with one entity. For example, E3. Okay, then okay, I'll merge these two. One more entity I'll take. Okay, and this is for example R2. Okay, now suppose this ER diagram they have given, and even cardinality also they have given, one to many. For example, this is one to one, and this is many to many. Okay, the question is, this ER diagram can reduce to how many number? That means minimum how many tables are required, okay, to represent this ER diagram. Okay, so now see how to find this type of question. So see, here one to many means what I said, how many tables will be created? Two. So here one table will be your E1 and another table will be your E2. Okay, now where R2 relation will go? In one to many, R2 relation will go always on many side. So here it will become this one, E2 R1. Okay, so R1 relation will go on which side? Many side, right? So it will become E2 R1. Okay, next this one, E2 E3. It's which relation it is having? 1 to 1. But E2 table we have already written one. Okay, so we'll not write duplication. We'll not write it two times. So one table I'll write E3. Now R3. So as it is 1 to 1 relation, that means R3 can be added on any side, either E2 or E3. Correct. Any side we can add our R3. So suppose I'll add it on this side. Okay, if you want, you can add it here also, no problem. Okay. Then next is your E1 and E3. So E1 and E3 table is already created. Okay, so we can't do anything with that. But it is many to many. Many to many means three table will be created. So one E1 which is already created, second E3 that is also created. So here separate table will be created for R2. I hope it's clear. So here how many tables we have created? 4. The answer for this question will be 4 tables. Okay, this type of question many times they have asked in UGC NET and GATE exam. Okay. Next, now we'll solve some previous year GATE and UGC NET question, and especially GATE questions on ER diagram. Okay, this I have taken some theory question, and next I have taken one numerical. Now see, so an ER model of the database consists of entity type A and B. These are connected through a relationship R. Okay, so they are telling that this is one entity A, this is one entity B, and they are connected through one relationship R. Okay. Okay, which does not have its own attribute. So that relation R, it does not have its own attribute, under which one of the following condition can be relational table for R to be merged so that of A. Okay. Now let us see. So here relationship R is one to many and participation of A in R is total. Second, they are telling a relationship R is one to many and participation. So here actually what happened, you can see the table, the relation table of R should always be merged with the entity. Okay, so it should always be merged with the entity that has total participation. Correct, na? Because that's what I said. No, this one partial and total participation I already explained. You see. So what is partial participation? The relationship that does not involve any entity. But here what they said, involved. So the relationship that involved each and every entity, that is known as total participation. Okay, so in this case, what happens? The relation will be total. Okay, then whenever it is a total, but here one more thing they said that, like see, the relation R is always merged with the entity that has total participation. So what will be the relation? The relation in that case will be many to one, because total, na, double side means many, single side means one. So it will be many to one. So the correct answer for this question will be option C. The relation R is many to one and the participation of A in R is total. Okay. Next, this is your GATE 2018. In an ER model, suppose R is many to one relationship from entity E1 to entity E2. Okay. So here they are telling this is your entity E1, this is your entity E2. Okay, and in the middle, the relation is there R, and the relationship it is many to one. So this side many to one. Okay, that's what they have given. So here assume that E1 and E2 participate totally in R. Okay, so it's total participation. That is, the cardinality of E1 is greater than the cardinality of E2. Okay, so which one of the following is true? So here, if you see, since what they said, it is a many to one relationship from E1 to E2. So since no entity in E1 can relate to more than one entity in E2, because it is many to one. Right, so no entity you can say in E2 can relate more than one. Okay, so because of that, okay, then next one more point here, let us see the option. Okay, so every entity in E1 is associated with exactly one entity in E2. Okay, that is actually the correct one. Why? Because here you see what they said, every entity in E1 is associated with exactly one. Because second option what they say, some entity in E2 is associated with more than one entity. But here already they said it is many to one relationship. That means no entity here in E1 can be related to more than one entity in E2. So many to one is not possible. Okay. Then option C says that every entity in E2 is associated with exactly one entity. And next, every entity in E2 is associated with at most one, exactly one and at most one. Actually, these both are not applicable. Why? Because here an entity in E2, okay, that is related to more than one entity in E1. That's what they said, the many to one relationship. Hence, you can say option C and D is also wrong. So the correct answer for this one is option A. That means every entity in E1 is associated with exactly one entity in E2. Next, this is your GATE 2020 question. Which one of the following is used to represent the supporting many to one relationship of a weak entity set? Okay, so here they said weak entity set in a entity relationship diagram. So here what they said, double diamond with double and bold border. Okay, so if it is diamond with double, so that means double diamond. Okay, so second said that rectangle with double, so double rectangle, then oval with double, and oval that contain underlined identifiers. Okay, so here what they said, if you just read the question properly, which one of the following is used to represent the supporting many to one relationship of an weak entity? But what they want to support many to one relationship. So that means here, which is the weak relationship? See, I have already explained in the beginning only the diagrams. Okay, so whenever it is like that, this is basically weak entity. But right now they want for weak relationship. So weak relationship is nothing but double diamond shape, right? So the correct answer is option A in this case. Next. See, this is recent only. So, GATE CSE 2023, which one of the following option given below refers to the degree of a relation in a relational database system? Okay, so here, what they said refers to the degree of a relationship in a relational database. Okay, so that means the number of attribute of its relational schema. This is already written in my point. So, direct answer for this. Okay, what they said, it refers to the degree of a relationship. Okay, so who will represent the degree? That is nothing but the attribute. Attribute means number of columns. I hope it's clear. Next. Next, this is your GATE CSE 2024 question. Let be the specification. Okay, these are some, they have given entity we need to draw. Which one of the following diagram is correctly represent? Okay, so here we don't have to identify which is not represent. We should identify which is correctly represent. Okay, so first, instructor teaches the courses. So see, instructor teaches courses, correct? Instructor teaches courses, here also correct. Instructor teaches courses. Instructor first is right in all the cases. Second, student register for course. So where is student? Here, student. But actually student is an entity, but they have written in this one. Okay, so option 1 is not right. Then student register for courses. So here if you see in second option, there is no student only. Okay, the second one is also wrong. Here, student register for courses. Okay, so here it is correct. Then in next one, student register for courses. So here also it is correct. Next, courses are allocated classroom. So check in this one. Courses have allocated classroom. So there is no link between allocation and classroom. Okay, so that is also wrong. But here you see, courses allocated classroom. So that is right. So the correct answer for this question is option 4. I hope it's clear. Okay, so this is all about some previous year GATE question and ER diagram. This topic is very important, so please prepare properly. Any doubt, any question, you can ask it in comment. And if you like my video, please like and subscribe my channel and press the bell icons for latest notification. Thank you.